Brian Azzarello and
Libra Mayo
art.
Joker.
Yeah, the Joker guys on a magazine-sized Batman book. And I saw some of the art ahead of time. It looked gorgeous, and it still looks gorgeous despite the fact his tool is out there. Yeah, I mean, it was sort of a no-brainer. My biggest concern was the size and people bitching about that. But yeah, I mean, this whole thing has been a manufactured publicity stunt by DC. You know, Stephen Colbert nailed it to the wall last night. He said,
"It's a comic book company trying desperately to help declining sales with a sexually charged publicity stunt to get people like me talking about it."
Yeah, he did say that.
And it goes to the right.
Excuse me while I whip this out.
It's just that I've read so often about you and Batman in the press, and, well, the experience of actually viewing you in the flesh is fate-making.
Oh, please, Miss Stoneman, there's no reason to be disturbed.
That's right. Behind our mask, we're perfectly ordinary people.
Nurse, check his penis. Is it longer than mine?
Oh, you should put that speech on tape.
He pulls a knife, you pull a gun. He sends one of yours to the hospital, you send one of his to the morgue. That's the Chicago way.
Hello, Chicago, hello!
Hello!
Hello! Gotta drink to that!
Welcome to Alternate Reality.
There's a cop sitting in a police car across the street
at the gas
24/7.
Yeah,
at the gas station. That's the safest gas station in the world. This is the cop sitting right there.
Think how much you're saving on security?
They used to have a chase machine and they took it out. I'm really upset.
Really?
Well, that's where I got money.
So isn't there another chase machine in Vegas somewhere along your route?
Well, there is, but you got to take a bus to it. Although last year I walked.
To chase.
Yeah, I walked last year. It's actually right down the way from Alternate Reality out there. It's the same. It's right there. That's why I saw it like
down the street from another murder too. Yeah. Tupac gets shot at.
Yeah, Tupac.
Right there on Cobalt Street.
Yeah, he's got the Skechers outlet store. He's got a big and tall shop there. Target, Best Buy. It's your little shopping area over there. But I didn't know where it was. If I know where it was, I wouldn't have freaking walked.
That other Alternate Reality out there, one of my customers, he's been out there, brought me back some flyers and some business cards from the place.
The store's pretty brown.
Were you in there?
Yeah.
Okay, he said it was smaller than this place.
Yeah, it is.
But the guy was nice.
Yeah, the guy was real nice, and it's comfortable. It's a nice guy. It's laid out quite well.
Yeah.
It's in the middle of a strip mall. There's a head shop next to it.
It is right down there from there.
I assume he gets confused as a head shop all the time, because I was here when I first opened. I first opened 25 years ago. Actually, it's 24 years, but I'm at the point where I'm calling this the quarter century anniversary. What is a quarter century? Is that silver?
Is it silver?
Silver. Yeah, silver anniversary.
Is that what?
Yeah, my silver anniversary is next year, but I'm just saying 25 years. The hell with it. When I first opened up, I used to have people stumble in here. Hey, man, where you got the rolling papers at? I go, well, I think they're across the street at 7-Eleven.
Yeah. I don't have any.
I don't have any.
Why not?
But the name of the place is Alternate Reality. Yeah, it's a comic book store. Oh, you mean
they go online and look up your name?
Yeah, they do. Yeah,
they go, Alternate Reality.
And then you get some rolling papers. Let's look it up.
And I swear to God, they look at me with a straight face and they go, oh, you mean this isn't a head shop? No, look around you. What do you see that could possibly lead you to think this was a head shop?
Oh, boy.
I don't know, man. But yeah, very brown, very comfortable, very nice. Nice parking lots in front of it. And there's a whole bunch of stuff around the place. I mean, it's like shopping mall heaven over there.
Well, people in Vegas got to shop somewhere. They're not all crazy about going to casinos and the strip.
Well, you said people who live there don't go on the strip at all.
Well,
I know. I talked to a person that said that.
There are people who live in Chicago who will spend their whole lives without ever going down to the Willis Tower, or the Sears Tower,
there's a bunch of people
or whatever the hell you call
who've
it.
never gone down. Who closest to get to downtown is coming to work.
Yeah,
they don't go anywhere downtown. They don't shop. They don't know where any restaurants are. I'm like, you don't know where this is? No.
Yeah, the touristy places, there are people who live their whole lives in Chicago. They'll never go down there. Or if they do, they'll be because somebody took them there.
Hi, we're in town. You want to go? We want to go to the museum. Oh, I guess we'll have to go.
I would assume Vegas is the same way, that there are people who live there who will never go down to the strip and have no interest in it.
No, their friends come in. They'll go, let's go to the strip. But other than that, that's it.
Although why they choose to live in hell's armpit is beyond me.
Yeah, it's summertime. Well, it's 89 now, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not
it's a balmy 89.
It's a balmy, he was there. It was 116.
You know what it is right now here in Chicago? It's a balmy 65, which is wonderful.
That's why I never go in the summer. I did that one time, and I'm never doing it again.
And that's why Alternate Reality is located at the intersection of 111th and Kedzie in beautiful downtown Mount Greenwood.
Better humidity.
Alternate Reality, where all new comics are always 15% off every day for everyone. Folks, welcome to The Alternate Reality, the podcast for the store Alternate Reality. And I'm being joined today by those two Vegas derelicts themselves.
Yeah, he just got back, and I'm going in 3 weeks.
Rod Flash.
Hello.
Who isn't here for our last two shows because he was living in the airport waiting for the plane to come in.
Yeah, could you kindly explain it to me when we're not recording?
In a minute.
Why you were there that long?
Yeah.
And also joining us today is the man who's heading out to Vegas.
Yes.
Good old Bocepheus.
I'm going to see Sting and Shaggy, so this is going to be a weird combination.
Sting and Shaggy.
A guy who does, what is he, reggae?
Reggae rap and Sting.
Yeah, and Sting. It's a strange combo, but I'm not going to see Ozzy, so.
Okay, folks, you've tuned in for an all-news update. And as always, with all news updates, we're going to do comic news, media news, wrestling news in that order. We're going to start off with DC news, and we're going to get the biggest story out of the way first. We're going to get the meatiest topic, the thickest load of stories from DC, the big event for this weekend. We're going to get it done, finished, and out of the way first. I'm, of course, talking about the first appearance of the Batpole.
The
first appearance of the Batawang.
The real the Batawang.
The Batawang. Bat penis.
Yes.
Bo, please tell us all about the bat penis.
The black label.
For those of you who have been living in a cave.
The black label DC line popped up this week. The first book, Batman Damned, from Brian Azzarello and Lee Bermejo. We already knew this was a mature reader's book, but apparently people went, hey, in this panel, we can kind of see the head of Batman's penis. Yes, you can. It's a mature label book. What do you think you're going to see?
A mature label doesn't mean you're going to see a swinging bat pole in the book.
What is your definition of mature reader's book?
Comics have been doing mature readers' books for 20 years, and none of them have featured a Wang so far. This is the first one to feature a Wang with a superhero. Marvel's done mature reader books. DC did a whole...
Dr. Manhattan had a super Wang, okay?
DC did a whole Vertigo line of comics, and if there were more than 3 Wangs showing in any of those books across the entire length of the line, I'd be amazed.
DC's Wang scared.
And even at that, they are hinted at.
Yes. Okay. So for all you fans who picked up Batman Damned this week, the reprint will not have that panel. It'll be shaded.
And the trade paperback.
And the trade paperback.
Once they trade it.
Once it's traded. So it'll be shaded. You won't see it. So get it while you can.
This is what's known as a manufactured collectible. DC knew this from the outset, what they're going to do with this.
I would assume they said, okay, we're doing this label. You guys are going to do this book. They did the book. They got the pages and they went, holy crap. Let's keep it quiet.
Let's keep it quiet.
I don't think that just snuck in there. I would bet money that was a meeting that they had at some point talking about, yes, do a panel with Batman's penis in there. Something tasteful.
Well, no,
which is all the talk about this thing.
It's quite tasteful.
It's pretty. It's for a bat penis that swings to the right. It's pretty tasteful.
It's not as blatant as you get. But I would assume that Azzarello gave Bermejo the script, and then Bermejo drew it.
No, but the idea to do this, I would bet you, goes all the way up to Dan DiDio. I mean, that sort of meeting. I'm not talking about creator and writer and artist meeting. I'm talking about Dan DiDio. This has been a whole manufactured publicity stunt that DC has put together. And I'm not saying that as a bad thing or as a good thing. It is what it is. It's been a manufactured publicity stunt. My biggest complaint about this has not been that Batman is walking around with a Wang. We can argue the artistic merits of that all day and all night, and it's a conversation
He's hanging out with Catwoman for some reason.
It's a conversation worth having. But my biggest problem with it is they didn't let anyone know, and I've got this thing racked where kids can get at it. And that's always been my big complaint with comic book companies who want to put stuff like this in. Image did exactly the same thing with their Humans book about 3 years ago.
I remember that book.
Humans was a book about monkeys who were men, so it was anthropomorphized monkeys, basically Planet of the Apes. But it was all about a biker gang on an ape planet. Every single issue out of the 10 issues, there was an erect penis, which is pornography, by the way, according to the Supreme Court. I went through this back in the 70s when I ran the Comic Book Emporium. Nothing has changed. If you have an erect penis, you have pornography. You cannot show an erect penis, much less doing anything with it. If you do something with it, that just makes it worse. The whole problem is compounded. And that's one of the reasons why I have an adult room. Would Batman the Damned have gone on the adult room? No, but I can guarantee you it would have gone on the counter, okay, where I could police it. I have no problem with selling adult material to adults, but if you're going to stick it in a mainstream comic book, you better let me know ahead of time, because I don't rack that stuff with adult stuff. I rack it so kids can get at it too. Not that any kid would care any at all about Batman the Damned, but there's always a chance that one could get their hands on it. And that's the thing I need to avoid. I'd like not to get shut down.
He did.
Right.
And other stores across the country have exactly the same problem. My God, Southland and Mason-Dixon, I can't imagine what sort of problems they're having with this thing.
Oh, wait a minute. This Batman's got a what?
There are district attorneys that have made their careers on shutting down comic shops down south, okay, over stuff that is infinitely softer and less important than this. So, I mean, that's my big complaint about this thing, that DC did not give anybody a heads up on it. I mean, the day before, it would be nice if they'd sent out a thing that said, you know what, there's visible genitalia in this thing, or something, okay, an email to retailers, just to let you know, and you might want to rack this differently than the way you would normally rack this book. Mature reader is not a light that goes up in the sky like a bat signal that goes, adult, rack it somewhere else.
But remember that DC's biggest concern before this book shipped was retailers are going to screw up the book by trying to cram it onto the racks in weird spots. That was the only thing they were worried about.
Well, yeah, that was always the big thing, which is why in the shipping video this week, I made a point of showing, look, this book fits perfectly into a magazine bag. Therefore, it is a magazine. How are you going to store this? You're going to get a magazine bag and board and a magazine box, and you're going to stick it in there with all the rest of your magazines.
All the rest of the time,
it's a magazine.
Whatever you're going to get.
And yeah, that was the big concern about this thing beforehand. And
you're going to ruin it.
In the shipping video, I showed it in a magazine bag. Here it is. It's in a magazine bag. See? Look at that. Perfect. And that all changed like Thursday. Wednesday, I went through the entire day selling this thing. And one other thing I want to
didn't even think about it. It popped up online Wednesday. People didn't. Yeah,
later on Wednesday, once people got it home and started to flip through it, and they did an, oh my God, look at this, and it started to hit the internet. That's when. But I want to point something out, because I had a problem with a customer with this week. I get 15% off all new comics every day for everyone for 25 years now. Nobody has ever walked into the store and not bought a new comic that hasn't gotten a 15% discount. 25% off first issues. Batman Damned was 25% off at Alternate Reality.
Yeah, first day.
First day came out all day Wednesday, and it was 15% off all day Thursday. Yeah. I sold through about 85% of my stock by then, and I pulled the last 15%, because when it went up to $30 on eBay, that's when it's like, okay, Comic Book Man has bills to pay too.
Yes, I get it.
And there are people out there that think, oh my God, you're gouging customers. There is not one subscriber that did not get that book for cover price less 15%, 20%, or 25%. What's your discount, Rodney?
25%.
What's your discount?
25.
What discount did you get on that book? 25. There's not one subscriber that didn't get that book at cover price minus their discount.
People called you
and there is not
came
one,
out and said, hey, can you give me a copy of that?
Yeah, and there's not one subscriber who didn't call me on Wednesday or Thursday and ask me for, can I get this book, or can I get the other cover for this book?
Yeah,
the A cover, B cover.
Yeah.
And I didn't put it in their bag, and some of them are still sitting there for people to pick up as of right this minute, which is fine. And when they come in and pick it up, it'll be $6.99 minus whatever their discount is. But yeah, about 15% of my stock, I jacked the price up starting at like $12.99, and right now it was at $38, and I'm sure that price is going to drop at some point. But you know what? Most of the people who picked it up for that much didn't even bat an eye.
Of course not.
Most
of
the people,
cool.
But a couple of people who are regulars in here gave me a lot of crap for doing that.
Why?
Because I'm gouging the longtime customers, even though they already got their copy at 15 to 25% off, depending on their discount.
About them?
They wanted to get more copies for their friends.
Oh,
did their friends come in and buy
speculating?
Well, they've already told their friends that they would come down to the most wonderful store on the planet and get the $35 book on eBay. Actually, $70 book on eBay. I'm charging $35 because I'm not such a dick as everyone thinks I am. I could slap $70 on that and probably get it, at least right now. Not it's like Death of Superman. Try selling it for $70 today.
Oh,
you do it now.
Your house with it,
you do it now. But if you told all your friends, yeah, I'll pick you up a copy, don't worry. If you told 10 of your friends, yeah, I'd pick you up a copy, That's your problem, not mine.
First off, how do you know that you're going to get 10 copies extra anyway?
Or 5 copies, or even 3 or 3 or 2 copies.
It's a $6.99 book. How many do you think most stores ordered?
Not that many.
It's a $7 comic.
I ordered a bunch of them. I ordered up on them, but I always order up on books like that.
And it was the first one of the new label. So maybe you would order it up on it. But as a general rule, some stores probably only ordered like 5 or 10.
When number 2 comes out, I can guarantee you it won't sell nearly as many copies as this one.
Oh, this is a penis in that, too.
I don't think it will be.
No. I would be willing to bet all these issues are already in and they're done.
Oh, they probably are, but whether or not there's anything in there. Like I said, my attitude is they had a meeting about this. Yeah. And this first issue, the first one that's going to come out, the first one that's going to hit the shelves, this one is the one that's got everything packed into it, so to speak. The next 2, probably not.
So you probably wonder what the other Black Label books are going to do.
I don't know, but you can't pull this trick twice.
No, you can't.
Anyway, so that's Batman's Bat Penis. Moving on.
Freedom Fighters, baby!
Freedom Fighters.
Yes.
Punching Nazis in the face. Yeah, here's another manufactured publicity stunt from DC.
Well, this takes place on Earth X.
Understand? Earth X.
Where the Nazis have... They won. They won the war.
They won the war.
Control America.
That's always been the thing with Earth X, not the planet where Nazis win.
You'll have Human Bomb, Black Condor, Doll Woman, and Phantom Lady. Uncle Sam is missing in action. And they'll be taking on their version of the SS, coming from the DNA of Plastic Man. So they'll all look exactly the same, but then it'll all look completely different. And giant robots. 12 issues, Rob Venditti and Eddie Barrows.
And there'll be a lot of Nazi punching in.
Yeah, a lot of Nazis
getting punched in the face.
A lot of punching Nazis.
I'm there. Sign me up.
Well, it's a good team. It's a good team. I like Eddie Barrows art, and I like Rob Venditti.
Freedom Fighters has never sold worth a damn. Not that I don't think this book might not sell, but Freedom Fighters has a terrible track record.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does. It's always been inconsistent sales-wise. I think because Venditti's doing... Is he doing Hawkman? Yeah. So people will go, what does the guy does Hawkman? Hawkman's selling, so let me try this out. Now, it's a 12-issue book, so you assume by the time you get to 4, 5, and 6, sales will probably drop off.
Well, it does with every book.
Yeah, but people will go, well, I'm invested because this is a 12-issue thing, so let's get all of them.
Going back to Batman and the Dam for a minute, there's a reason it's 3 issues.
Yeah.
By the time you get to your 3rd issue, you're done.
Yeah, you're done.
I mean, as far as sales go, you plateau by the 3rd issue, and then it's diminishing sales on a slow step down from that point on. So by the time you get to your 3rd issue, you're done.
Especially for $7.
Anyway, Marvel news. Behold, no Vision. The Vision comic is not happening.
No, it's not happening. We talked about this the last show. You weren't here. Marvel decided not to do it.
Why not?
Well, they never explained why, but someone said the plans for the Vision and his daughter will not go with this limited series, which is a sequel to the Tom King book. And so Marvel, even though 4 issues were done, decided not to publish it.
So they're scrapping this book?
Well, I think that was not the idea, but then Chelsea Kane, the writer, kept talking about it to the point where Marvel went, look, we're done with you.
Well, what was she saying that was so terrible?
She was complaining, the book is done.
She did. She
and
was
there's 4
online
issues,
saying...
and I'm not supposed to talk about it, and she kept talking about it. And so Marvel basically said, okay, we're done with you. We're done. We told you, we paid you, we offered you other work, and you're complaining about it. Go sell your stuff somewhere else. We're not interested in you anymore. So, but it'll probably still come out. They paid for it. 4 issues are done, they probably finish the damn thing off.
Well, that's part of the problem with Marvel. If it was DC, it'd just be an Elseworlds book, or hell, DC just released the damn thing.
Yeah.
And say it was another Earth.
Yeah, I mean, it'll pop up as a trade, it'll be a digital comic or something like that, but yeah, it'll come out. But yeah, she kept talking about it. Go work an Image.
Okay, so even next story, even though Brian Michael Bendis is not at Marvel anymore,
no,
he is still a thing at Marvel.
He picked Kelly Thompson to carry on with the stories of Jessica Jones.
Yeah, made her the caretaker.
He said, I want you, before I leave, I want you to take the character and do whatever you want with it. Now, they're doing it in a little different way. This is a new line called Marvel Digital Originals, which means all the books are online, and then when they're done, then they come out in a trade. And so 3 of the issues are done already. It's a 100-page story. A 20-page thing will set up the next arc. It's been drawn by some new guy named Mattia de Ludis. And the art looks pretty good. And the first arc's called Blind Spot. And it's got Elsa Bloodstone in it. And this is a new line. You got a Luke Cage book that's going on right now. I got a Cloak and Dagger and a couple other ones. So the first trade for the Jessica Jones book's coming out in October. I think October the 5th or something like that.
First arc's 100 pages.
Yeah,
Jessica
100
Jones.
pages. Basically, it's a binge thing. It's out there. You can read it. You can go binge.
So they're trying to binge the books like you would do to Netflix.
It's basically Netflix. You can get all of them out. You read them all. Then you go, okay, we're going to take 3 months away, and we're going to put it out in trades. You can read it, and then 3 months later we'll come back with more. It's interesting.
DC's been doing this for years.
No.
What do you think Injustice is?
Well, Injustice
has been online first and then gone to comics second.
But this is
from its inception.
But this is a
same with Bombshells.
Yeah, but that was a little different. This is weird. It's like all trade. I mean, with the stuff you're talking about, it came out in comic form.
Well, yeah,
this will never be a comic. Well, it's always going to be a trade.
Well, but they're bypassing the comic and they're going straight to trade. Yeah, but it's still coming out in print.
That Curry Andrews Iron Fist thing that came out, the trade he did, that book sold very well. So Marvel went, we could do this with a lot of other books that may not necessarily sell
as
monthly.
A regular monthly.
But we can do these trades because people love trades.
Why did it take them so long to think that idea?
Well, wasn't that the plan with Powers? I thought I remember a story where after the last Powers series, he said from now on Powers is going to be trade paperbacks.
Well, Powers is going to, over at DC, yeah, Powers will be
new material.
Yeah, graphic novels only. There won't be a monthly Powers book because, well, hell, monthly is a relative term with that book. So you'll get them all at once and go, okay, here's your hardcover, read it. Okay, we'll come back in a year. Okay, here's another hardcover, read it. Okay, we'll come back in a year.
Okay, moving on to indie news. What's up with Hit Girl over at Image?
Oh, she's everywhere, man. She's been to the U.S., she's in Canada, she's going to Rome.
She's going around the world.
She's going everywhere. Raphael Albuquerque and Raphael Siboni. She's going to Hong Kong. Daniel Way and Gorlin Pabra. It's Hit Monkey. Kevin Smith's going to bring her back to Hollywood. Peter Milligan's doing stuff after that. She can keep bouncing all over the place. She's an international hero. An international 12-year-old killer.
What about school? What about her homework?
What about that?
What about her homework?
Taught her everything she needs to know.
She's 12. She's supposed to be in school, goddammit.
She's killing people, for Christ's sake. What is she going to learn?
My daughter just turned 18. She doesn't graduate till May.
Has she killed anybody?
Better not have.
Well, there you go.
She's going to be in big trouble if she did.
Hit girl. That's what she was trained by Big Daddy. Nicolas Cage taught her how to do it.
And why are they doing this around the world thing?
That's just an idea that Mark Millar came up with, and so he says, okay, I'm going to give this to an editor, and you're in charge of this stuff, and everyone's going to come in, and you're going to keep bouncing from place to place to place. And so every arc will have a field, because, well, Jeff Lemire did the Canada thing. He's from Canada. So it had a very Canadian feel about it, back bacon, tokes, and all that other crap. Rome, and you keep bouncing all over the place. And I think there's a movie coming, too. I think Hit Girl's coming back as a movie at some point.
Great.
Of course.
Because that last Kick-Ass movie was so wonderful.
Well, that too. Yeah. No, Netflix, mate. It's going to be a Netflix thing.
Well, that would make sense. Well, he's got the deal with Netflix.
Yeah, he's got the deal with Netflix.
That would make sense. That would make sense. Anthony Bourdain, the chef and the world traveler, yes. He died this year? Last year? This year? Okay. Apparently, Dark Horse still has some material he did before he died.
He did the Hungry Ghost thing.
Yeah.
They're going to retrade that. The hardcover's going to have 5 brand new recipes from Anthony Bourdain in them.
Oh, really?
So you can go, hey, I can learn how to cook stuff.
Ooh.
Wow.
Cooking from the hereafter. I like that.
Well, you know what that is?
Yeah. No.
That is good cross-promotion because there are people out there who don't give a rat's ass about his comic, but will care about his recipes.
He's a cook.
I will have people coming in looking for that book just because it's got the recipes in it.
It's a hardcover, so I don't know how many people are going to be coming in.
I mean, look at how many copies cookbooks sell, for Christ's sake. His cookbooks on top of it.
Yeah, it's true. It's Anthony Bourdain. And you're going to get a Leonardo Manco's going to do stuff explaining the histories of each ghost in the stories. But it'll be the Ghost, Hungry Ghost.
Oh, the Hungry Ghost. Okay.
This will be the last Bourdain thing ever done. He turned it. That's it. It'll be done.
Okay. That's it for comic book news. We're going to take a break. When we come back, it's going to be time for media news.
You know, folks, there really is no other store that has as many sales as Alternate Reality. Beyond our signature sale of 15% off all new comics, we also have specialized sales peppered throughout the week, month, and year. For example, did you know that every Thursday is Ladies' Day at the store? That's right, ladies. Stop by the store and you'll save 20% off all of your purchases all day long. Ladies from 8 to 80 get a 20% discount on everything all day, every Thursday, only at Alternate Reality.
And we're back. Hey, Bo.
Yes.
Doc Savage. What is up with Doc Savage?
Oh, you got a nice way ahead of you.
I've been waiting since 1973. No. When did that Ronnie Lee thing come out?
No, not the Arnold Schwarzenegger version.
I gave up on that a long time ago.
Dwayne Johnson is Doc Savage.
That ain't happening.
No,
that's not happening.
No, it's not happening anytime soon.
I never thought that was going to happen.
Anytime soon because...
well, it would have been great, but I never thought it was
for one, The Rock's a little busy. And so they're trying to fit it in his schedule. Shane Black Predator is going to be writing and directing the thing. And he says, if Dwayne's schedule opens up, we're there.
If it opens up.
He's a little
When's it supposed to open up? He's got himself wallpapered for the next 10 years.
He's doing the Fast and Furious spinoff right now.
He's doing a spinoff. He's doing another Fast and Furious.
Yeah, he's going to do Black Adam. That's apparently after this.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, he's a little busy.
So it's never going to happen.
Probably not. Probably not. Or he'll go, I got a weekend. What the hell?
Do you know what he does that people don't realize? They'll stick a script up to her and say, you're the perfect bill for this character. Okay, I'm interested. And somebody leaks it, Dwayne Johnson's interested in this movie. And then they stick it out there. Then they go, wait a minute, he's already booked for the next 8 years. What time is he going to have to do this movie?
He'd be cloned.
Because he's even talking about going back to wrestling.
Because, he can. He can do that. One of our stories are going to mention someone who's connected to The Rock in an interesting way. I didn't even know this.
Oh, segue.
You know who is coming back? You're not going to see Doc Savage, but I guess you will be seeing James Bond.
James Bond.
Yeah.
They made an announcement this week. Terry Fukunaga. True Detective Season 1. He was going to direct the first It film. He is directing Bond 25. He wasn't even on the damn list.
Yeah, how did he get picked?
Which sort of means he and Daniel Craig are out somewhere, and he went, "Are you interested?" And he said, "Yeah, I can do it." And he said, "Well, I can do this, and I can also help work on the script if you want me to, because I can write stuff, and I'm a hot director at this point. I can do dramas, I can do action, I can do whatever the hell I want." And he went, "You're the guy. You're the guy." So Neil Purvis and Robert Wade, the people who've been working on the Bond film since the Brosnan years, they already came up with an outline, and production of the film will begin in March, which means there's no delay.
So it should be ready by Thanksgiving 2020.
2020. The Danny Boyle script that they had, they went, see ya.
Was it that bad?
Well, it kind of annoyed Daniel Craig and Barbara Broccoli. Apparently, Craig and Broccoli said, what will be interesting for this is my last film. Why don't we kill James Bond?
Yeah, sure.
And Boyle went, no, we can't do that. And he went, but we can just have someone play 007 and we can say James Bond's not a person, it's a code name.
Well, no, that gets back to, is he a code name or is he a person thing?
Yeah.
That would answer that question. Yeah. I don't think they have any interest in answering that question.
No, they were alluding to it in Skyfall.
Yeah.
And of course, the beginning of Casino Royale.
Yeah.
Okay, you are 006. How do I get to be 007? You have to kill. You have to kill someone. You have to kill a prime minister.
Right.
Pop.
Right.
Bam. I'm 007.
I'm 007 now. Yeah, you get to move up in the crowd.
Star Wars is on hold, but it's not canceled.
Well, they're not on hold. Every film that they said they're going to do, they're still working on, still developing them.
They're still going to do them.
Bob Iger said, we had this idea of doing a Star Wars film a year.
Yeah,
we're not going to do that anymore.
because of Solo.
He said, we kind of rushed Solo out. It didn't do as well as we thought. So what we're going to do is we're going to work on the films a little at a time, and then when one's done, we'll tell you it's coming out. But we're not going to do a Star Wars film a year. It might be every 2 years. It might be every 3 years. But churning them out every year, we're not going to do that because it didn't work out with Solo at all. And Solo's not a bad movie.
It just made a paltry $258 million, but apparently that's garbage compared to Disney.
It wasn't enough.
I know, Disney. Oh, you didn't make $500 million.
Yeah, it wasn't enough.
It's a flop. I had so many people that's actually defending Solo.
Solo's a good movie.
You don't really have to defend it. It's an indefensible
Solo's a good movie, and there's nothing wrong with the guy playing Solo. The problem was people went, but we kind of got out of Last Jedi, and you came out kind of quick, and we didn't really have time to savor the last film, and now we have another one coming. So they said, we're just going to slow down.
This was also because they also fired the director and brought in Ron Howard, and he goes, well, you guys are paying me to clean the script up.
The problem with Solo was the fact that the guys who were working on it, Lloyd and the other guy, they were doing it as a comedy. This stuff came in, and Disney went, this isn't a comedy.
It's not a comedy. It's Solo.
This isn't a comedy, and everybody's improvising.
So in other words, they didn't know the difference between smart ass and slapstick.
Right.
That's it. That's what was wrong with
Well, the problem with that is nobody it was miscommunications at the initial talking level of this thing when these guys were hired. Apparently, they thought they were doing one movie, and Disney thought they were doing something else.
That's why Michael K. Williams got fired from the movie. His part got completely cut out because it doesn't fit with what we're doing now. Because I'm playing a lighter, looser, sillier character, And Solo was not light, loose.
No, he was a smart ass. That's what
right.
we liked about him.
Right,
he was a
smart ass.
He wasn't slapstick.
No.
You had the droids for that.
Yeah.
Well, in the original trilogy, most of the comic relief that doesn't come from the droids comes from Han Solo.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if you take the
because he was
droids
deadpan.
out,
He was deadpan.
yeah.
Right.
If you take the droids out, the next person you go to for comic relief was Han Solo, and that's in all three films. Not that he didn't do heavy dramatic stuff too, like you know. Well, I mean, look, they're encasing him in carbonite, and she says, "I love you." He says, "I know." I mean, they're making even a joke out of that.
It's like, whoa, and that was a line Ford came up with right then and there.
So to do a more lighthearted version of Han Solo in the movie Solo is not out of character for that type of movie.
It was too light. It was too light for them.
Solo is not the type of movie where you're going to get into a lot of let's beat ourselves with a stick because we're Jedis.
No, Solo's attitude is let's go out and make some money and try not to get killed. That's my idea.
Well, I mean, that's the sad part about Solo. I mean, I always thought that, hey, let's take a look at a section of the Empire or a section of the galaxy. There's absolutely nothing to do with Jedis or Siths, or it's just guys trying to make a buck, running scams, and flying pirated merchandise under the radar.
We'll show you how he got the Falcon. Because we heard about it, we didn't see it. Well, in Solo, we see how he got the Falcon. Yeah. And Woody Harrelson, of course, is great in it.
Okay, we started off this show talking about Batman's junk, which is the big story for this week.
Bat junk!
Last week we did our In Memoriam episode, and if you haven't listened to it, go back and listen to it. It's episode 87. But the big news story last week, which we haven't covered yet, because we did the In Memoriam episode, was Henry Cavill and whether or not he was leaving Superman. Which, for my money last week, was a huge non-story because, as far as I know, he's got 5 more years in his contract and one movie.
One movie left.
One movie left.
Still exists, and people didn't understand what Warner Brothers said.
Well, the contract, they've got 5 years to make that movie.
Yeah.
So he's got 5 years left in his contract.
What Warner said was, we're not working on a solo Superman film right now because they're working on Supergirl. And so people went, they're firing Henry Cavill. And then Cavill's agent, who happens to be The Rock's ex-wife, she goes, he still has the cape from the closet. And then Cavill said, I'm going to go on Instagram and troll people.
Yeah,
I'm going to sit here
a bitch.
in this, what is it? He's got a
Krypton University
Krypton Lifting Tube t-shirt, and he's got his action figure, and he's raising it up and down and up and down and up and down, and people are going, what does that mean? And it means he's still Superman. He hasn't been fired. They just said, we're not working on a film right now.
Well, I am sure Henry Cavill would love for them to move things along a little bit so he could actually do something.
Yeah, but
he's spending an awful lot of time sitting around with his thumb up his butt staring at the wall.
Henry Cavill signed up to do the Netflix show The Witcher, which means he's going to be busy for a year anyway.
Well, I mean, as far as Superman goes.
They don't have any plans.
Well, originally they were going to roll him into Shazam.
But he was
as a cameo.
But he was doing Mission Impossible, so they couldn't do the cameo.
Okay, well, roll him into something else.
And so he was sort of hanging around doing nothing. And he said, I'm more than willing to play Superman again. I didn't get fired. And Warner Brothers said, we have a great relationship with Henry, and we'd like to keep the relationship going.
At one point, the plans for the DC Extended Universe, as much of a train wreck as it is now, but at one point the plan was to have Superman be the thread that would go from film to film to film.
Right.
He would show up, either make an appearance in an end credit Easter egg, or actually be within the guts of the movie, playing not a principal role, but a tertiary role. Yeah. You know, hi, welcome to the DC Universe.
I'm here.
You know,
sort of like what
they've done
Robert
none of
Downey,
that.
what Iron Man is with a lot of the Marvel movies.
Yeah,
like
or as Sam Jackson did at the beginning of the Marvel movies, Phase 1, showing up at the end of Iron Man. Did he show up in Thor?
No.
Coulson was in Thor.
Coulson's in
Thor. He shows up at the end of Captain America.
Yeah, he's in Captain America. Hi,
so you would have Cavill doing something like that. Yeah. He wouldn't be a principal part of the movie by any means, but he would be there. And they've done none of that.
No, that's good. Because they still haven't figured out what they're doing yet.
And so I go back to what I said. I am sure Henry Cavill is sitting around the house, staring at the wall, saying, I'd like to do something with this costume before I get out of here.
Yeah. But see, when they were doing Mission Impossible Fallout, he and Chris McCord were going, you'd like to do a Superman film, don't you? Because you started out doing X-Men. And they had already worked on an idea for a film.
Yeah.
Matthew Vaughn's already worked on an idea for a film. It's not the people around him, it's the folks at Warner's who still haven't figured out what the hell they're doing. which is a recurring theme. We don't know what the hell we're doing.
And that's always been the problem.
Yeah.
And that doesn't look like it's ever going away.
That is sad for a company that big.
Too many corporate heads talking in rooms to other people who aren't in rooms with other people. DC just moved to another division like this week. It's like, do you guys have any idea what you're doing?
What? They moved to another division?
They got a new boss, a black female.
And what, Dan DiDio's?
No, Dan DiDio and Jim Lee will be reporting to their new boss.
So this is the new Diane.
This is a new Diane Nelson, but she's in the consumer products division. So they're like, we're going to monetize the crap out of this thing. So now you guys are going to be reporting to her instead of reporting to no one. She's your new boss.
So the woman who's in charge of the consumer products division is now in charge of DC?
She's basically the person that they have to talk to, yeah.
Dude, that's a bigger DC story than what we talked about before. That's an actual story. We should have talked about that.
It's interesting.
Good for her.
I have no idea how this is going to work out. Somebody's going to get fucked.
Well, poorly, not because she's black, but because she's head of making action figures and consumer products, and you're running a comic book company. You know what that is? That's Toy Biz calling the shots at Marvel in the 90s.
It's Toy Biz. Yeah,
that's Toy Biz. Toy Biz calling the shots at Marvel. Well, we think that the Spider-Man clone thing ought to go on for another 5 years because it sells so damn many action figures.
Yeah, because it's action figures.
That's a good idea. Fans will never stop talking about that.
And they did.
They still talk about the clone thing.
Everyone loves Ben Reilly, even though, there's a Ben Reilly book coming out. I'm not buying that.
No.
But you love Ben Reilly. I'm not buying the book.
At least once a month I get somebody in here that says, yeah, I stopped reading Spider-Man because of the clone thing.
That was how long ago was that?
Exactly. Exactly. Well, good luck with that. X-Men. What's going on with the X-Men franchise? Disney's about to get the keys to that place and kick everybody out the front door, I guess, and change the locks.
Disney's announcement was every film that Fox has paid for and has been done is coming out. Bob Iger, the head of Disney, said this week, well, we don't own it yet because the deal's not done until the summertime, but when we do the X-Men films, Kevin Feige's in charge of the X-Men films. He said, we're not going to have two Marvels here. Everyone's going to report to Kevin Feige. Everything goes through Feige. Yeah, so the X-Men are the first thing that they think about, and Fantastic Four will probably be next.
That's backwards. I mean, FF is easier to do.
Yeah.
I've been saying that from the beginning. FF's easier to do. There's less there that anybody gives a damn about. You can just throw them out there and do whatever you want to do.
I'm assuming that
X-Men has got a lot of work you have to do.
I'm assuming that whenever the summertime begins, they'll probably go to Feige and go, okay, what do you want to do first?
You've got a 9 to 10 movie franchise at least that goes back almost 20 years worth of continuity. You can make arguments about how screwed up the continuity is or how tight the continuity is, but it's there. They're going to retool the hell out of that
No
thing.
black and white X-Men costumes are showing up.
Well, what Iger said was Feige has a bunch of ideas already, and he said, well, what about Deadpool? And Bob Iger went, Deadpool could quite easily be a member of the Avengers.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, boy.
That should scare the hell out of you.
Well, yeah. You're talking about Phase 5. Iger said there's going to be an Avengers 5, different team. Who knows what their team's going to look like?
Yeah, who knows? I bet you that there'll probably be an X-Man in there. They'll probably stick somebody in there.
Wolverine.
No, actually, you know who they'll probably stick in there? Beast.
Yeah, Beast.
Yeah, Beast.
And Iger also said he talked about firings, and he said that the gun thing, it wasn't his call. It was other people's call.
Whose call?
Iger said he had nothing to do with the decision to fire James Gunn. He, however, said he was all out of the firing of Roseanne.
Yeah.
But for Gunn, he goes, well, they kind of brought that to me. So he's still not working on the Guardians film, but I'm not the guy who pulled the plug. Basically saying, don't blame me. I didn't do it. Wasn't me.
Okay, that's it for media news. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, it'll be time for Ding Ding Wrestling News.
Every Sunday is super at Alternate Reality with our Super Sunday Sale. Each Sunday we pick a different character, family, or publisher, and we discount all of their comics and trade paperbacks 25% off all day long. What we pick for the sale is different each week, but each Sunday you'll save 25% off. And that's all day long, all day Sunday, only at Alternate Reality.
And we're back. The WWE is investigating Orton on what? What did Randy Orton do now?
Apparently, Orton has a habit of introducing himself to new writers by walking up to them, putting his hand down his pants, pulling out his wang.
Like Batman.
And
yeah,
going,
this is the second wang story I was telling you about.
Shake my hand. And the writers look at him and go,
Excuse me?
But you had your hand in your pants and your wang is hanging out of your pants. And he's going, what? You want to shake my hand? You big timing me? Should I tell Vince and Stephanie you don't want to shake my hand? What is wrong with you? And cutting a promo on them while he's standing there with his hand, which is covered, of course, with junk feces or whatever the hell it is. And his wang's still hanging out while he's arguing. And this is a story that happened like a couple years ago, but apparently he still does it.
That is, on one level, at the very least, sexual harassment.
Yes, that is.
Whether he's doing it to a male writer or a female writer.
That right there.
And that's why they're going, let's look into this and find out exactly if he's doing this.
If he's doing this, he's fired.
Yeah.
No, seriously.
In this day and age, he's gone.
Yeah, in this climate, he's gone.
He's never. I think the thing with him and the Hardy is over. That was his last big push for a while. Because I read this story a couple of weeks ago, and I meant to ask you about it.
But no, the Hardy thing, as far as they're concerned, no, it's a super show. It's going place in the Saudi Arabia show. That's not over. The other wrestlers, we wanted to mention, we talk about Hardys. You brought it up. Matt's not done. People jump to conclusions. What he said was, "I'm going home." You know why he went home? His house got hit by a big freaking hurricane.
Oh, that's right. He's in Carolina.
They live in North Carolina.
Yeah, he's in Carolina.
Oh, he got hit by Florence.
Yeah, he got hit by Florence. He lives in the Carolinas, and his house is damaged. And he said, "And I need to rehab and get myself healthier because I've got the medical issues I talked about." And so he did this thing. Well, this was the last time you see woken Matt Hardy. Now you can see broken Matt Hardy because he owns the damn thing. But they looked into this, and I guess they're investigating it, and I would be willing to bet that nothing will happen to Orton when it's all over and done with.
If he did this, yeah.
This is it for him.
If he did this. But
it depends, and that depends on how hard they look.
Well, yeah.
Quote, unquote.
Well, the guy who basically reported this said, look, I don't have any issues with Orton. He was like, I'm cool with Orton. Orton and I are fine.
No, from what I've been reading, Orton has singled this guy up ever since that incident happened. Well, this guy is basically saying he's been bullied by Orton ever since he wouldn't shake his hand.
Well, Count Barr is the guy who broke the story. He doesn't even work there anymore. He was the guy who reported the story. He hasn't worked there for years. He's working for TNA right now.
But in this day and age, a story like this...
But they said we're looking into it, but the story's really wink, wink. We're not firing him.
Well, if he's got a history of doing this... You started the story off by saying that he has a habit of...
He did this. Yeah, apparently he did this in the past.
To not just this one guy.
Yeah, well, he did a bunch of writers. Now, who knows if he's done it lately, because he doesn't spend a lot of time... Well, he works... Part-time would be a generous schedule. He works for like a couple months, and he goes away, and then he comes back about 3 months later, and he goes away, and then he works. He's got the Undertaker, Brock Lesnar.
He's a troubled youth.
Well, remember, he
has a long history of trouble.
Well, remember, he got busted.
Getting high sitting in the seats.
Yeah, he got busted years ago for smoking weed all the time. Apparently, he stopped smoking weed.
Well, good idea.
Although it'll be legal soon, so it really won't matter anymore.
Well, it might be legal, but you can't sit in the stands and knock down a bottle of Jack Daniels either.
Well, no, you can't do that. No, because you got to.
Okay, and that's legal, but you can't do it.
Yeah, but smoking weed before I'm in the stands. Shows in 4 hours. I'm gonna smoke some weed.
Okay, so
where's Randy Orton at? He's in the 5th row. He's been working on a bottle of Jack Daniels for 4 hours.
Yeah, he's not drinking alcohol.
Okay, so let's say unequivocally, Vince is leaving in 2 years to concentrate solely on his XFL.
Right. Triple H is not going to fire Randy Orton. It's not going to happen. Orton right now is at the point where he's probably got a couple more years left as a regular worker. He doesn't work regular now. He's in that mold of, I work whenever I get around to it. You come up with a program, I work, you don't have a program. I go back to St. Louis and hang out. He's not a full-time guy. And for full-time guys, if you learn from Lesnar, the rules aren't the same.
Well, he seems happy with that. He's never really gotten into the A-level status. He's a high B guy.
I think he's a high A guy. He sells more than enough.
What would have made him a high if they carried that feud with him and Brock Lesnar past that one match?
Yeah, I think he's at the point now where even though he doesn't work a lot, he still sells enough merchandise. He's on the Jericho level.
Well, he's also a legacy.
Yeah, he's a legacy kid. And he's a guy, he's getting older. He's been hurt all the time. He's probably got 2 full-time years, not even full-time years, 2 part-time years left. He'll go in the Hall of Fame, and then he'll either be a trainer or he'll go home and hang out in St. Louis with the wife and the kids.
Okay, let's move on to our final story. But what's this crap I hear about Martian Manhunter having...
It's not the damn Martian Manhunter!
Having problems with being suspended.
It's not the Martian
Why is the Justice League suspending Martian Manhunter?
Because he's been reading minds again and he saw Batman.
John.
John Jones.
No, John John.
John.
You forget the H when you're talking about John Jones.
Well, I just don't understand why the Justice League is having such a hard time with him.
Because, for one, he
eats Oreos and
he walks around with his pecs hanging out all the time, and you can see his junk through his trunks.
No, you can't. That's why he wears trunks. That's why he wears the trunks.
But anyway, he's been cleared to come back to fight. He basically did his suspension already. He'll be able to fight again on the 20th of October. So people went,
oh, you're talking about the MMA John
yes, the
Jones.
MMA John Jones.
Oh, I thought you were talking. Oh, okay.
No. John Jones, the Martian Manhunter, eats was it Oreos? It's not Oreos.
Oreos. It was Oreos.
John Jones.
Okay, you're beating it into the ground.
He eats Hydrox.
Do the story.
He's been cleared.
Hydrox are better than Oreos. We had this conversation a long time ago. Hydrox are better than Oreos.
I don't know that one. He's been cleared from his second anti-doping thing. He can fight at the end of the month, October 28th. He wants to fight Daniel Cormier for the third fight, and Cormier went, I've only got one fight left, and I'm fighting Brock Lesnar next year, so done. I'm done with you, son. We fought twice. I don't want to deal with you anymore. You can fight someone, anyone. Me, I've moved on. You need to do the same thing.
That's sad. He's moved on. I'm done with you.
Well,
I'm done with you.
Okay, he's going to fight Lesnar sometime next year. And then Lesnar and Cormier are going to come back. And Lesnar's going to come back to the WWE, and Cormier's going to come with him. So, what the hell?
Okay, and that's it for the news. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, Rorschach Test.
Hey folks, Comic Book Man here. Most people don't know this, but I got my start in comics retail on February 20th, 1978, when I became the store manager of the Comic Book Emporium. 16 years later, I opened Alternate Reality on August 20th, 1994. Like Superman's penchant for double L's, it seems the 20th has always been an important part of my life. I respect that heritage, which is why we have a Founders Day sale on the 20th of each month here at the store. Every 20th, stop by and you'll save 20% off all of your purchases all day long, only at Alternate Reality.
Okay, we're back with the Rorschach Test. This time around, Rod is going to ask us, or is going to give us a word or phrase or words, and we're going to give him our first reaction to whatever that is. And Rod, what is it you have for us today?
I'm going to give you a name.
A name, okay.
A name.
Proper name?
Yes.
Okay.
Steven Spielberg.
Overrated.
Overrated in what way?
Overrated in, not that he's not a good director, but he is a very manipulative director, and I'm not the first one to say this.
Every director's a manipulative director.
Yeah, I understand that, because they're telling a story, and they're
right.
telling a story from their point of view. The problem is there's telling a story from your point of view and then manipulating your emotions. And Spielberg is well-versed and well-trained in manipulating your emotions, which on some levels is fine, but he uses it as a crutch in a lot of his movies, especially the ones we're supposed to whine about, the little kids who are having difficulties doing something or other. But no, I've always felt that Spielberg is an overrated director. He's a good director. He's not a terrible director. I'm not saying he's a bad director, but I think he's vastly overrated. He spends way too much time trying to manipulate emotions instead of trying to do something artistic. You take somebody like Scorsese. Scorsese is a much purer director,
yes,
because Scorsese is always a slave to the story and getting the story out. Spielberg, the story to begin with has to be either something that hit him when he was a kid or something that has to be important sociologically in some way, shape, or form. The difference between a Jurassic Park and a Schindler's List. Schindler's List, we're going to do this whole thing about the Holocaust and what happened with the Jews, and then we're going to do a movie about dinosaurs. And his whole palette goes back and forth between those two. Serious, not nearly as serious, but in both of them, he is very adept at manipulating people's emotions as opposed to telling the story first. I'm much more appreciative of directors that care less about manipulating me into feeling a certain way than I am a director who wants to tell me a story and tell me a multi-layered story that can work on a lot of levels.
Okay.
What about you there, Slick?
One of the greatest filmmakers our generation's ever known.
Fine. Okay.
Spielberg.
You know. Here's. Let me know before you say one more word. I'm not gonna discount a word that you're about to say. Before you go any farther,
yes.
You say that like you're on Facebook shutting me down.
No.
I am not discounting anything you're about to say. No. It's just the manner in which you're presenting it. You did everything but put a look stupid in front of that.
He's not letting me say anything.
Okay, explain why he's the greatest.
Steven Spielberg is a guy who's concerned completely and totally with story.
Okay.
He will not do a film until the script is drop dead perfect.
For him.
And if it's for anything, producing or directing.
Okay.
And if it's not drop dead perfect, he will let it go.
That explained the Transformers movies.
The Transformers
went through that.
Name on that one.
The Transformers movies is the studio going, we want to do a Transformers movie. It's Steven going,
the script's got to be perfect.
I don't want to do a Transformers movie, but you know what? I'll produce the film. You got Michael Bay. He can do it, and my name will be on it. But don't expect me to visit the set while you're shooting. And I don't really care how it works. We will run what you shot. I will give you advice on what needs to be edited. But other than that, I'm staying out of the way.
Well, what does any of that have to do with him giving a damn about the story, then? He produced all the Transformers films, and you said as a producer and a director.
There's a difference between him directing a film, that film he cares about the story, and producing a film.
For Duel, he directed. That's a damn good picture.
Duel and Duel was what? Duel was a TV movie.
Yeah.
You know, it was basically a movie where he bluffed his way onto the lot, got ingratiated, and they let him do this movie, and he just, what the hell is this guy doing?
It was good though, but from what I remember.
Yeah, but here's the thing: there's almost no story in Duel. It's all about emotion manipulation. Yeah. That whole thing. Big truck is chasing down a guy in a small car. Okay, and the car's got problems, and the truck is something. It's either demonic or crazy.
Yeah, we don't know. We don't know who's driving the truck. We never see the driver,
and it doesn't matter.
We don't know because it doesn't matter because the story is involved. You don't need to know.
But that's not much of a story.
Most Twilight Zones aren't much of a story.
Twilight Zones are half an hour. Duel's an hour and a half.
Yeah, so you know what Duel was?
And you know what Twilight Zones are?
Duel was an hour and a half Twilight Zone episode. That's what it was.
No. Twilight Zone's episodes also had morals at the end of them. They made sure that you knew what the moral was at the end of the episode. And they only had a half hour to work with. When Serling got to an hour long, those generally suck because he took the half-hour format and he stretched it to an hour. And there wasn't enough there, which
he was trying to be his.
When you tell me that Duel is a Twilight Zone episode, that's part of the problem with it. It's a half an hour worth of story stretched out to an hour and a half.
Well, but it's also Duel was based on a short Richard Matheson story, so
again, stretched out to an hour and a half.
Stretched out because with commercials, because you're like, okay, we got to ratchet up the tension, and when it's over with, well, why did you do it? We don't know why he did it. Doesn't matter why he did it. He just did it. Just accept it. Everything doesn't have to be explained to you in a movie. Sometimes stuff just happens.
But what I was saying about emotional manipulation, Duel's a very good example of that, because all it comes down to is what do we care about this guy and how scared are we of the truck? That's ultimately, you boil that movie down, that's all there is to it.
But you do a breakdown between Duel, Lincoln, and Amistad. You directed all three of them.
Yeah.
Is he playing with your emotions in Lincoln and Amistad?
I'm not sure about Lincoln, but Lincoln is also like at far end of his career, although he's still making movies. But there are many Films and many Spielbergs removed from Duel.
Well, Steven Spielberg at this particular point,
but something like Jurassic Park,
he wouldn't be making Sugarland Express at this point in time in his career.
I can trace the line straight back to Duel. Okay, for Jurassic Park, it just has better script.
In Jurassic Park,
thank God for Michael Crichton.
And it's Michael Crichton going, I got this idea about dinosaurs, and I want to make this movie. And Spielberg goes, okay, let's go for it.
Yeah, well, it's because when you're a little kid, you play with dinosaurs.
You love dinosaurs.
And you're crazy about dinosaurs.
Cool. Yeah, dinosaurs
when you're a little kid, you're crazy about movie serials, so you do Indiana Jones. Yeah. When you're a little kid, you want to be taken away by an alien in a big ship. So you do Close Encounters.
You do Close Encounters in E.T.
Or E.T. You want, your little friend. But again, a lot of what Spielberg does, he goes back to when you were a little kid. What manipulated you when you were a little kid, that's what I will go back to, and those are the strings that I will hit. Yeah. And that's what I don't like.
You don't like being played.
I don't like being played. He's a director that plays you. And you're sitting there watching it, and you know it's happening.
And you
feel it. Well, I don't know about not caring.
He did the same thing with this
I care.
Ready Player One, he did that.
And that's a great movie.
Why is it a great movie?
I haven't seen Ready Player One, but some reviews I've read, it's not a great movie.
It's a really good movie.
It's a Midland movie.
It's a great movie.
It's him playing with exactly the same thing I said before. You grow up and you're playing video games. Let's do a movie about video games. Because that's something that I can grab people's heartstrings on and tug on it.
But Ready Player One's based on a novel that he liked, and the guy said, can I make a movie out of this? So this isn't something he came up with on his own. Ready Player One will probably, it did okay in the theaters. It didn't do horribly in the theaters. That film is going to make a crap load of money on video because it's a really good movie. And he's going through the same problem a lot of guys do. As you get older, people become less and less interested. Scorsese's got that Irishman film coming out. Once that film's out, both of those guys are fully aware of the fact, I only have so many films left in me. I'm about done. Spielberg produces, Scorsese doesn't. you're looking at a point where these two guys popped up. They went for completely different directions. They're buddies, they're friends. They both love the concept of film, but we're at a point now where we are looking at the end of their time.
Scorsese does produce some stuff. He was a producer on Atlantic City, wasn't he?
Yeah.
He might have directed an episode, but he was primarily the producer on that.
Yeah, he was a producer on Boardwalk Empire.
Boardwalk Empire. Isn't he supposed to be the producer, not the director on the Joker film?
Yes, he's a producer, but not a director.
Yeah. So, I mean, he does produce.
Yeah.
Produced stuff before.
And he's also a guy who's got a copy of every single film that's ever been made.
Well, good for him. Everybody needs a hobby.
So he sits there, so he gets bored and goes, I'm going to watch a movie today. I'm going to watch a surf film.
Well, we're getting into Scorsese now, not Spielberg. But yeah, I mean, Scorsese goes way back into having great love and great respect for the art form of film. I don't think Spielberg, while he might have great love for it, I don't think he has quite as much respect. Not that he doesn't respect it, but I don't think he has quite as much respect as Scorsese for the history of film and the art of film.
Well, part of that could be social abilities. Scorsese grew up as an asthmatic kid. His escape from life was going to the movies. Spielberg grew up in suburbia California, so you had different perspectives. And yet, when the two of them get together, though,
that's where the big ego comes from. That's exactly what I was about to say about.
If you're talking about ego, I've never heard any stories of Spielberg showing up anywhere and throwing his weight around. He's a regular guy. He just happens to be worth $1 billion.
Well, everybody who works in Hollywood at that level has an ego.
Yeah.
You can't get away from it.
Yeah, you can't get away from it. But
when it becomes overbearing, that's when it becomes problematical.
Yeah, I mean, he's the kind of guy who would show up to a regular restaurant like a Denny's or whatever and order food and just sit there like everybody else. He doesn't throw a lot of airs. And Spielberg and Scorsese is the same thing. They're just regular guys. Yeah, we make movies, but other than that, we're just regular guys.
Okay, and that's it. We're done with Fish. We're out of here. We got no more time for news, but be sure to go to the store's website, myalternatereality.com, where you'll find more Bose's news. You'll find more of JR's reviews. You'll find more Vito Carli reviews. And you'll find all about shipping and just about everything else about the store, Alternate Reality, at myalternatereality.com. Gentlemen, you have anything else you want to finish up the show with?
Bo? There was a weird meeting this week. The Impact people were at the WWE studios, but everyone's vague about what they were talking about. They said, well, we're not buying Impact, but if you're not buying Impact, then why were you there? And Triple H is the one who called the name.
Studio tour?
It's not a studio, it's an office building.
Okay. Field trip? Could the yellow school buses pull up?
Toronto, Connecticut. They're not even close to each other.
Well, they're close. They're closer in Chicago to Toronto.
Well, yeah, there's a good point there. But it's
or
kind
Chicago
of
to Connecticut.
So the question is exactly what was this meeting about and what does this lead into?
We shall see. But not right now. And that's it for us, folks. Rod, say goodbye to everyone.
Goodbye, everyone.
What a good guy. And Bo, say goodbye to everyone.
So long, kids.
So long, kids. And this
Happy Trail.
Oh, God, he's singing again. And this is me saying, bye. Thanks a lot for listening. If you enjoyed this show, please like and share it with all your friends. We value your feedback, so drop us a question, comment, show idea, or complaint either at arcomics@msn.com or, if provided, in the comments section down below on this platform. The opinions expressed in this episode are solely those of the individuals and not necessarily those of Alternate Reality Incorporated. This show is, as always, coming to you from the Alternate Reality Comic Shop, located in the heart of beautiful downtown Mount Greenwood at the intersection of 111th and Kedzie, serving Chicago comics fandom since 1994.
Elvis has left the building.